Hey, Wellness Warriors, welcome to the Burnout Resolution Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mylaine Riobé, and today we're talking about how self-sabotage keeps you trapped in burnout. One of the biggest challenges when we work with our burnout clients is these self-sabotaging excuses that we all tend to make to explain away why we can't feel better or resolve our burnout. Short word for them are the excuses. We've all used them. I still catch myself using them from time to time, as much as I allegedly know about getting out of burnout. It's just part of human nature. Excuses are your brain's way of keeping itself comfortable. When your brain is going haywire and you're stuck in burnout, the last thing it wants to do is change its habits because that feels overwhelming to the brain. It feels like something uncomfortable that it has to go and figure out. It's going to come up with all kinds of stories as to why it should just stay stuck where it is. Excuses are not laziness. They're actually part of burnout. Your brain has been so comfortable in sending those stress signals down and knowing exactly what to expect all the time. Your body has worked its way into these, what we call pathological imbalances to keep the peace. And it just settles into this rhythm and groove where it's getting by every day, but it's doing the same thing every day to get by. Meanwhile, you feel like crap. You're exhausted, you have brain fog, you're gaining weight, you have inflammation, you can't sleep well, you have anxiety. All of these things are coming as a result of the comfort that your body has settled into through having to handle chronic stress for so long. When we disrupt that pattern, when we disrupt that comfort and we make a decision like, hey, I'm going to do something to get myself, your brain kind of rebels. It's like, wait, 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 not so fast. I'm pretty comfortable over here. Leave me alone. All of a sudden, we're on this regimen, doing perhaps more exercise, or we're doing more breath work, or we're having to go to bed at different times. We're eating different foods, right? That's all more stuff your brain has to try to figure out, remember, organize. And if you're in burnout, that's the last thing your brain wants to do. So it starts telling you little stories about why it should stay where it's at. And these are the excuses. Now, they're subconscious. We don't even know we're making these excuses as we're making them. So until someone points them out to us, or somehow we get over some type of hurdle where we can see them for ourselves, we just stay trapped in these excuses. So we're going to go over the top 5 excuses that I've heard from my clients and occasionally from myself. We'll talk about how to work through them today. Excuse number 1, it's too expensive. This one comes up a lot. And listen, I get it. I find myself doing that when it's time to make an important decision about things that I do to take care of myself. And I find myself having conversations with myself about how important these things are for me. And so I've learned how to work through these hurdles with my clients to get them to understand that your health is an investment, not an expense. So you're either investing in your health now or investing in your diseases later. Our younger generations already invest in all types of wellness apps, supplements, gym membership, meal delivery services. In fact, they spend the most money on their health. The question isn't so much whether you spend on your health, but how you spend on your health. Every dollar you invest in your own healing comes back to you with compounded interest later when you avoid having to take those medications, avoid that surgery, avoid feeling even worse over time, and get to live a happier, more joyful, fulfilling life. Every dollar you invest in a strategy to get yourself out of burnout and to heal saves you way more, especially if you're an entrepreneur in business for yourself or a professional. Every missed workday costs thousands of dollars. And even if you're an employee, while that missed workday may not cost you directly, because you may have sick benefits, the price of goods is actually influenced by the lack of efficiency of the workforce. If a company has to pay more in overhead and expenses due to absenteeism or presenteeism, which is when you show up to work but you shouldn't because you're sick, inevitably, when they have to spend more money to produce the products, they're going to charge more money. Even if you're still getting paid for that sick day, when you go out into the world and you buy stuff, that has a lot to do with the cost of goods. Not only do you save on doctor's visits, delay medical conditions, you also gain by feeling better. Tired sucks. Being sick sucks. There's nothing fun about not feeling well. And making sure that you're making the right investments in yourself is critically important for your future. The irony about thinking that taking care of your health is expensive is that being sick is way more expensive. And so it's actually the opposite of what people think. What makes holistic care feel expensive is because most of it is not covered by insurance. We have this idea, and younger generations are a little bit less likely to fall into this trap, but we have this idea that if something's not covered by my insurance, then I can't have it. But what I've noticed as an integrative medical doctor is that the things that keep you well are actually a much better investment than the things that keep you from dying once you get sick. Investing into health savings account or flex spending accounts, if you have the opportunity, is a great way to cover wellness expenses. My tip is to make sure that you are investing wisely in things that will keep you healthy and help you to feel good on a day-to-day basis. Know which supplements you need as opposed to guessing. That way you feel better faster knowing that you're taking the right things and not wasting your money. Very often people come into my office already taking numerous supplements they read about on the internet or saw in a video or on TikTok. And when we actually assess them and determine their dynamic metabolic type, the majority of the supplements are not useful to them. So we end up revamping their list. But had we known this information to start with, then they would have saved sometimes thousands of dollars knowing exactly what to do and how to do it. I also have clients who will take supplements like vitamins, but not have had the testing done to know exactly what they need. And so they're taking all these supplements and they're not feeling better. They're spending all this money, but they're not feeling better because they don't know exactly what their needs are. So the investment in testing informs what supplements would be best and helps you match feeling better faster. The other thing too is if you have any gastrointestinal symptoms and you're taking supplements and you're not feeling better, you're completely wasting your money because those supplements are going right into the toilet bowl and not into your body because you're likely not absorbing them well. That's another big expense that people incur is they're taking really high quality good supplements. They've done all this research into them, but they're not absorbing them. So they're not getting the benefit and again they're wasting their money, sometimes thousands and thousands of dollars. Having the guidance of an integrative medical doctor or a wellness coach is huge and actually saves you money in the end. That takes us to excuse number 2. I don't have time. That's a super common one. In fact, I probably hear that more than excuse number 1. And it's real, right? You have a full-time job or you're also a parent. Some people feel a lot of pressure to socialize after work. And by the time you're done doing all of those things, there's no time left for you. People don't get enough sleep. They don't exercise properly and they fall into the burnout trap. And when you give them recommendations to get back on level ground, they'll say, I don't have time. The irony is burnout steals your time because you become much less efficient. I have people tell me this all the time. I walk from room to room and I keep forgetting why I walked into this room, or I left something behind, or I lost this, I can't find that, I waste all this time. And that's burnout, right? People will think that they have ADHD under those circumstances, but really what's underneath the ADHD is very often burnout. There's all this wasted time because your brain can't function well when it's burnt out. Now, you would think, why would the brain want to stay in such a chaotic state? Why wouldn't it want to jump on the burnout resolution train and feel better? And that goes back to how the brain functions. Your brain functions in patterns. It wants to recognize patterns, things that it can very quickly identify and respond to. If you break the pattern and all of a sudden we're going this way instead of this way, this is the way to burnout. And we've been very comfortable with these routes. We know exactly how to get from place to place in the brain. The brain knows exactly what loops to go around and how to operate in that circumstance. When you break the pattern, it gets very uncomfortable. It doesn't want to learn a new thing, even if that new thing is going to help it feel better because it doesn't know that. Your brain doesn't know the future. So it doesn't understand. It just knows right now in this moment, I have been taken out of my comfort zone and put way over here where I'm not comfortable. I'm going to find my way back to that place where I'm comfortable, regardless of how that place makes me feel. It's familiar to me, it's comfortable to me. That's how your brain actually functions. We have to keep bringing it back to where we want it to be. And that's not just willpower. It's not just a matter of making a decision and forcing the body to do that. We have to work on getting the brain to be healthier so that it's less stressed as it's moved into a new pattern. That's where your lifestyle decisions make a huge difference. What you're eating, how much oxygen the brain gets, what nutrients the brain is getting, how much sleep the brain is getting, and circulation, how blood is flowing through the brain through exercise and activity, and also removal of toxins, the four pillars of wellness that we talk about so much. It's important to make sure that your brain has the plasticity to be able to accept the change that you're making, the new quote unquote demands you're making on it to stay over here on this side where we're going to work on getting healthier and not have a burnout. The idea that you don't have time is simply your brain playing tricks on you. Your brain doesn't know the future. The brain doesn't know if I do this, I'll feel better. Your brain can't make that kind of calculation. Your heart can make that calculation, though, your intuition. So you have to keep falling back on coherence and the four pillars of wellness, making sure that you're just feeding the brain and supporting the brain so that it can move into the place you need it to be and stay there. Once it's there, it becomes much more efficient. You don't forget why you walked into the room. You don't lose things. You're much more efficient at doing your work. And you actually save time. You get your time back when you're not in burnout. It's actually the opposite. It's not that you don't have time. You get to make time when you resolve burnout and feel great, fulfilled, and happy. This is where pattern interruptions come in. We talked about that a couple podcasts ago, but pattern interrupts are really important where you give your brain the flexibility to keep reminding it, this is where we want to go. I know you're comfortable over here, but we're going this way now. I'm going to pattern interrupt you so that I get you comfortable over here, so that this becomes the new familiar and you don't keep jumping back to the burnout side of the world as the familiar. Those pattern interrupts are things like using interruptions. When you walk into a room and suddenly you forget why you walked in, that's your cue. Let me just stand here and take 3 deep breaths. This is my reminder that I must have not been focused. I must have not been present. If we are present, we'll remember why we walked into the room. If we're present, we'll be much more efficient about getting our work done. And we won't lose things as much because we'll be present when we put it down. Making sure that you use those cues, those points at which you're in chaos, as the reminder to get yourself into high coherence and to take those deep breaths, even if it's just 3 deep breaths in a row, and then you move on and do the thing that you came in there to do. Or if you can't remember, you go back and you figure out why you walked into the room or whatever the case might be. But every time you forget something, use that as a pattern interrupt. Use that as a tap on the shoulder to say, let me take some deep breaths. Let me refocus on being present and try and stay here as long as I can, as I'm moving through the rest of my day. Also, missing meals. When people feel like they don't have time, they don't eat. I have clients who eat once a day sometimes, and we have to break them out of that habit because if you don't feed your brain, it can't function. Even if it's a quick, healthy protein bar or a quick protein shake, that's better than grabbing an unhealthy snack out of a vending machine or skipping a meal. We give people these quick tips of things that you can do, like make sure you have some healthy protein bars or protein shakes available in case of emergency. When I have a long work day, I have 2 or 3 protein bars or jerkies, turkey jerkies or mushroom jerkies. I'll take 2 minutes just to woof down on a busy day so I don't miss meals. So that keeps your body fueled even though you're not sitting down to have a formal meal. It's better to sit down, mindfully eat when we're not doing anything else. We're just focused on the eating, like we talked about mindful eating in one of our prior podcasts. Just being with that food, being grateful for that food. That's really important so that you digest properly. Eating on the run, eating on the fly is not ideal. You're not going to absorb as optimally as if you sat down and really focused on that meal by itself. You'll be shocked at how much energy you have when you take a few deep breaths with each pattern interrupt and make sure the body is fueled and hydrated. Use the pattern interrupt as a hydration point as well. Take a few sips of water every time you forget something. If you put that water bottle in the same place and keep it full, you'll remember. It'll be a pattern in your brain. My water bottle is always here, so you'll remember. It's a pattern. This is how we set the patterns in our brain to remember things. Because if it's too haphazard and random, when you're in burnout, you're just going to forget again. That takes us to excuse number 3, too many pills. This one usually comes from being overwhelmed. It is a lot of pills. But again, if you know why you're taking those pills, if there is a strategy, if you've had the proper testing, the proper evaluation, you're working with a professional who's making those recommendations so that you know why you're taking them, it helps them to stick a little better. Having meaning behind the pills matters. If it's something random and you're doing a trial and error to see if it helps, you're going to be less likely to stick with a program than if you know, I did this test and it showed these results, and therefore I need these pills to correct those results. It has meaning as opposed to some random thing I grabbed off the shelf. Remember that supplements are a bridge. They're not something intended to take forever. The goal is to rebalance a system in the body. Supplements will be needed for different durations. For example, if you have significant nutrient deficiencies, you might need those supplements for 2 to 3 years until the gastrointestinal system is completely healed. Now, that doesn't mean you wait 2 and 3 years to feel better. It just means that your body consumes the supplements very quickly. When you know that you have nutrient deficiencies and you're taking them, you're giving the body what it's been missing, it will immediately use them. It won't have stored them anywhere. I tell my clients it's like you have 2 different energy tanks in your body. There's a checking account and the savings account. In traditional Chinese medicine, we call one of them the pre-heaven qi and the other one the post-heaven qi. It's when the pre-heaven qi would equate with a savings account goes empty that people spiral downhill and feel awful. They get really sick. When there's still money in savings, when the pre-heaven qi is still there, the post-heaven qi, the checking account, can keep tapping into savings if it needs to. If you're running low on nutrients, but you have nutrients stored inside the cells, your body will tap into those stores in order to use them. When you become depleted and deficient, and suddenly you're putting them into the body, your body will just use them up. That's like you're just spending money in checking, but you don't have anything left up to put into savings. It's only when savings gets to be full again that you're out of danger. You'll feel better just because you're taking the supplements. You should start to feel better just from that. But that doesn't mean the savings account is full. It's still empty until there's an overflow that goes into savings. That's what takes all the time. That's why nutrients need to be taken for what feels like a long time, sometimes 2, 3 years or more. The testing we do will help you to know if it's time to back off on the supplements. That'll be reflected in the testing. This is something I explain to my clients. You'll feel better when checking is cranking again, but you'll crash and burn if you don't allow savings to build up. The adrenals are even tougher to heal because everybody's always feeling stressed. And so it's really hard to allow that system to fully recover in a short period of time. Sometimes people are on these supplements for several years. It does make a difference that you take the supplements for the specified amount of time that your body requires so that you heal. And yes, sometimes it is a lot of pills. I probably take about 10 to 15 pills every morning, and then another few in the afternoon for various things, adrenal supplements, nutrients for vitamin supplementation, digestive enzymes. I take thyroid replacement and DHEA as well. And so it adds up, it does. But I know if I don't take them, I will go into burnout. I will feel terrible. And so I make the investment to make sure that I'm remembering to take them and that I do take them. So I encourage all my clients to do the same, especially when you feel like I don't have time. It takes a while to take the sips of water that you need to swallow each of the pills. So when you feel pressed for time, those 2 excuses collide. It's a lot of pills and I don't have the time. Or even excuse number 1, they're expensive, right? They all start swirling around in your head, trying to sabotage you into leaving it alone so it can settle back into the burnout pattern that it's familiar with. And so having an accountability buddy is really, really helpful. A good friend, a family member, or just sometimes having your phone remind you, did you take your pills? Did you take your stuff today? As you pattern interrupt the brain, you have to keep gently moving it onto the side of being burnout free that you want it to be in. The motivation, also the forethought to know if I take these things, I'll feel better. Your brain doesn't know that though. Your mind knows that, your heart knows that, but your brain doesn't. Your brain doesn't really understand future things. Engaging the mind or intuition or the heart in your treatment plans is really important to give the treatment meaning. So that guides your brain from day to day. And setting prompts, just reminders. My phone is going off constantly reminding me to do this, do that, take this pill, take that pill, until it's a habit. And then when it's a habit, I don't need the reminder as much. I wanted to switch up my meal plan a few weeks ago, so I prompted ChatGPT to give me a new meal plan based on the parameters that I set, and I asked it to give me a printable PDF. I printed it out, and it's in my face all day. So I remember, okay, this time I'm going to do this time I'm going to do that. I have it set in my mind, and it's right there in writing for me. I'll take it to work with me. It's in my kitchen. These are prompts, pattern interrupts, ways that I reset my brain to get it to do the things that I would prefer. Your brain's almost like a pet that you're trying to train into a new habit. We give the brain a lot of credit, which we should. It's not that it's not useful. It's just not as intuitive as we would think, because intuition is not in the realm of the brain. It's in the realm of the heart. When you're feeling overwhelmed, take that deep breath, center yourself, and remind yourself of the meaning of what you're doing. It has to be meaningful to you for you to stick with it. Really sit in how you want to feel and envision yourself in that state. Envision yourself burnout free. Envision yourself happy. Envision yourself fulfilled. Envision yourself with all the energy that you desire to do all the things that you want to do. If it's traveling, having a ton of money in your bank account, hanging out with your kids more, having more energy to exercise, whatever it is, envision yourself there. Give what you're doing meaning. If it doesn't have meaning, you won't stick with it. Excuse number 4, my job is too stressful. Work stress is real. And if your job is very stressful, that's all the more reason why you need to take care of your body so it doesn't fall apart. Even if your goal is to change jobs. If you take your broken body with you to another job, it's just going to keep falling apart there. You might delay it for a while if the job that you get is less stressful, but if the body is already out of balance, it's just going to stay out of balance unless you actively intervene to get it out of a burnout state. Healing burnout doesn't necessarily make the stress go away, but it helps your body be much more resilient despite it. It also helps your body to think more clearly so that you can do it more efficiently. Now, whether that efficiency leads you to a different job, a different career path, or whether you find much more efficient ways to do the work that you're doing, helping your body to resolve burnout will give you the clarity to make those important decisions. There's a lack of clarity when people are in burnout. That same brain fog gives you a lack of clarity. I've seen it over and over again. When people start feeling better, they're like, wait, I should have been doing this whole time rather than that. They realized that there was something they were doing every day or at work. It was not the most efficient thing for them to be doing, but they would just do it mindlessly because they were in burnout and couldn't think clearly enough. Once they got themselves out of burnout and they were thinking more clearly, they were like, wait, I should have never been doing that. Let me come over here and do this instead. Sometimes that's a career change. Sometimes it's a job change. Sometimes it's a relationship change, or even moving sometimes. The clarity comes when the burnout goes. The stress won't vanish, but your capacity to operate efficiently despite it will grow. And excuse number 5, I can't remember when to do things. When you're overwhelmed and in burnout, it's hard to remember. You walk into a room and you can't remember why you walked into the room, or you put your phone down somewhere and you can't remember where it is. That overwhelm is a sign that you need more structure until your brain can operate more efficiently. I tell people, don't try to do too much at once. Pick one thing. And if that one thing is simply drinking more water for the day, do just that. Don't try to remember your breathing and drink more water and get more sleep. Pick one thing Set a reminder on your phone to keep doing that one thing, or you can do sticky notes or anything that works for you. Get that one habit down. When you're comfortable with that one habit, and it can take a month to be comfortable, that's okay. Then move on to adding one more thing. You keep drinking more water, and now you start remembering to do your breath work. Set your phone to remind you to do that until it becomes a habit, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. It's okay to do it that way. You don't have to do everything all at once. So for me, in order to build the habit of drinking more water, I put on my meal plan. The first thing that I get up is to drink 32 ounces of water with some lemon and sea salt in it before I have my coffee. I wasn't allowed to have my coffee until I had 32 ounces of water. And so I took advantage of that to just take my 10 pills with those 32 ounces of water. Then I would have my coffee. It became a habit as I did that day after day after day. And now I'm drinking a lot more water. So you can unload the burden on technology. Prompts and reminders. I have ChatGPT reminding me to do things. You can easily prompt it to remind you about anything you would like. So quick recap. Excuse number one, it's too expensive, really means you just haven't reframed it yet as an investment in yourself. That's part of self-care and self-love. Excuse number two, I don't have time, means burnout is already stealing your time. Self-sabotage excuse number three, too many pills, means you need simplicity and reminders. And if you're taking supplements and you don't know why you're taking them, or if you need them, see an integrative medical doctor so that you can get some guidance. You've got to have meaning around why you're taking those pills. Otherwise, you will feel that there are too many. Number four, my job is too stressful. It's time to build resiliency and clarity. If you stay in that job, look at making a career change or operate more efficiently if it is a job that you love by using technology or getting your brain to be much more clear and efficient so there's less brain fog and you do your work with more joy. And finally, I don't remember what to do. It means you need structure, prompts, accountability, like an accountability buddy, until you've repatterned the brain so that it's a new healthy habit. These self-sabotage techniques are just your brain trying to survive because it's struggling. It's not really self-sabotage so much as a cry for help. When you learn to decode the hidden language of your body, when your brain sends you those self-sabotaging thoughts, they stop holding you back and start pointing you towards what you need the most. If any of these self-sabotage patterns has been holding you back, I invite you to join our 7-day Burnout Resolution Challenge. It's simple, structured, and designed to help you move past these blocks once and for all. Healing isn't about being perfect. It's about making small steps, one at a time. And if it helps, even I, a burnout resolution expert, still have to coach myself and remind myself of these same things from time to time. It's just part of being human, but we get to be human much more joyfully, much more efficiently, in a much more fulfilling way. I invite you to visit our website, awakenedwellnessnow.com. If you want to know about our corporate programs, visit our website to get more information there as well. And until next time, many, many blessings. Thank you for listening and watching.